a little bit too much. Hello, everyone, and welcome in. Just fixing the camera here. Maybe move this over a little bit. That'll be easier. How's everybody doing today? It's kind of a rough day. It's been a hard week for America. And of course, there's always personal tragedies that happen in everyone's life. And I decided to go with this drawing out of my book, Peculiar Patterns, because number one, since I drew it, I could give it away free. And that's what I decided to do. Sometimes coloring is the best way to process or anger or sadness or any other overwhelming emotion that you might have. I've known this for years and years and years now. And that's why I made my own coloring books. And that's why I will continue to make them. I have firm belief that more people should just sit down and color for a few minutes. And so that's what we're going to do here today. Is I decided to color this pattern today. I don't know what colors I'm going to make it yet. I haven't decided. But sometimes it's not about finishing anything. And sometimes it's just about the act of taking a deep breath, sitting down, getting your pencils ready, getting something good to drink or a snack, putting on your favorite YouTube channel. Sometimes it's the process of getting ready to color that helps calm our minds and recenter us and refocus. And of course, we're going to have some loud noise this afternoon. I can't help that. We'll do our best here. I do live outside in a manner of speaking. I live in an RV, and so background noise is not something that I can control. I think I will, though, shut my door and see if that helps any. And we're getting the same problem that we had the other week with occasionally the videos going blurry. And unfortunately, there's nothing I can do to help that. So unfortunately, we're just going to have to live with it. But I might get up and shut the door here in a minute. And I think today I'm going to start with red. Because red is the color of anger, you know? And we need to get some anger out today. Maybe it's just generalized anger at the world. But let's put some of that down on the paper, shall we? So here I've just got permanent red from Prismacolor. You can grab any red pencil you want. And you can start anywhere you want. But I'm going to start in the center at the heart. Because right now, you know, my heart is feeling kind of angry. I'm not going to lie. It's upset. It's disappointed in the world. You know, so let's get those feelings down on the paper. patterns or geometric shape or mandalas, however you want to say it, things that repeat or have a pattern to them are soothing to color. There's no hope to make a, breathtaking coloring page that you're going to hang on the wall. We're not here for that today. Oh, it's fun to do those kind of pages. Well, we're not doing that today. We're coloring to get those feelings out. Get grounded, get centered. Oh, I should color these too. Of course, taking nice, long, deep breaths when you're coloring. Helps us clear our minds, find our focus, quiet our thoughts. This is Crimson Lake. A little bit of a darker, deeper red. Oh, thank goodness. Unfortunately, and I'm sorry, I can't control that. I have tried a million times to ask the neighbor not to do that when he knows that I'm live. Oops. Well, looky there. Right outside the lines from the get-go. That's all right. Today is not about being perfect. Today is just about the act of sitting down and coloring and processing all those feelings from such an awful week. And I think the center deserves some purple. What do you think? Color is your center today. Let's see here. Just digging through my pencils. Trying to figure out what color strikes me. And I'm dropping them on the floor too. Alright. Let's go with a little Parma Violet to start with. And I'm just in the mood to color some little circles here. You can find this page if you want to download it in color on my community page. I posted it on my Facebook, and I also posted it on my Instagram account. Of course, if you'd like to buy the book and join in next week or soon, you can do that. Mr. Fly, you're not welcome. You're also welcome to do that. It's available on Amazon, and it is available as a full digital download for $10 on my Patreon account. But if you want to download and print it off, you're more than welcome to join me. And if you're joining me for the first time, welcome. I appreciate that you're here. I color every Friday at 1 o'clock. I color every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. I know that's not exactly convenient for everybody. And we may change that up at some point in time to where I'm available in the evenings. But right now that's not possible. But it is a Friday here. Oops. I hope it's a Friday there too. It might be Saturday if you're around the world. We're just going to fill this in with this purple color. I'm a big fan of red and purple together. Is it the Purple Hat Club that does the red and purple hats? Do y'all know what I'm talking about there? I don't have a red and purple hat, but I would wear one. Maybe something like that. Hi, Sherry. How are you? Nice to see you. I'm coloring off the page here. I'm coloring off the screen. I move the book a lot. I don't mean to. It just happens. I'm going to take some dioxazine purple hue and just go around the edges now. Again, we're not trying to make a masterpiece here today. We're just coloring. You want to color with violet abandon and go outside the lines? That's the day for it. Today's the day for it. Anything goes. It's your coloring page. This is a good page to color with your kids too. Or your grandkids, or your nieces, or your nephews. Or in my case, great nieces and nephews. Good page. You can talk about the different shapes on here if they're really young. Remember to take those deep breaths. I don't know, maybe a little something like that. Hi, TK. Oh, you found your picture. You found the picture in your book. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, if it wasn't in your book, I'd be happy to have a talk with the publisher. I love this little handy book. I do. It is great for occasions like this where you just need something that doesn't require a whole lot of thought. We're coloring in my book, Ivy's Peculiar Patterns. It's available on Amazon. I can even get you a link. Give me just one moment here. Also available on a digital download on Patreon. You'd think I'd have these links at my fingertip, but I don't. Where is the little share button? There it is. This is the book. It is a smaller size book. You can take it with you on the go. It's awesome for that. I often take this with me when I have appointments, like doctor's appointments, and sit in the lobby and color. Because you can put it right on your lap. No big deal. I think now I think I want to do this in the darker purple. Like the other day I was in a blue mood. Well, today I'm in a purple and red mood. So those are the colors I'm going to color with. Maybe you're in another color mood. Maybe you're in a random color mood. Like I said, maybe you just want to add colors with wild abandon today. Maybe you don't want to stay in the lines. I know today is a tough day for many people. I am hopeful that they got the right guy in the murder of Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was, by my definition, a good guy. And it saddens me that the world has lost him. Because one person couldn't understand that it's okay to disagree with people. You don't have to kill them. You don't have to wish them dead. And by all means, you don't have to celebrate their death. I will never celebrate anybody's death. When you silence somebody's ability to speak, you don't silence the truth. You just don't. People should have the right to their opinions, and they should have the right to speak them freely. And people should be free from the fear of getting imprisoned or killed because of their thoughts or their words. You know, that's pivotal to our society, is open debate. Have open and honest conversations with each other. You know, having open conversations usually brings people together. I am using, the reds are Permanent Red and Crimson Lake in my Prismacolors. Yeah, that has to do with your phone, TK, or your settings. There, sorry. But you can search it on Amazon. You'll find it. Just right in there, Ivy's peculiar patterns. You'll find it. You're welcome. You're welcome. He did confess. I don't know why he would do anything like that. I don't think I want to know. It's reprehensible. You don't take someone's life just because you disagree with them. They haven't done you any harm. I was a member of the debate team, speech and debate team in high school. And I went to college and I studied how to express my opinions and my views. I had a lot of writing classes, a lot of communication classes, a lot of debate classes. And I was very, very good at it. And that is one other reason why I say, you know, Charlie Kirk would have been somebody I would have wanted to marry. Because he could hold those conversations without getting emotional. Yes, it was his father who turned him in. Sherry is using her arts. I never know how to say it. ARRTX. I really don't know how to say that word. Um, he would have been, if he would have very much been in my circle, he would have been a good friend. And that saddens me. I mean, all he wanted to do was speak his truth. And he has every right to hold every one of his beliefs respectfully, just as all of us do. You can disagree and you can choose not to believe, but you don't have the right to kill somebody over it. Not here in this country, you know? And we need to return to being the country where just because you disagree doesn't mean you want somebody dead. I don't know how we made that jump in society. No, in our society, if you don't agree, you just go the other way and do your own thing, you know? Um, I don't have to agree with everything he stood for or everything he believed in because I don't even know what all they were. I wasn't a big follower of his. If it came up on my YouTube feed, I would watch him, and he was entertaining. He was well spoken, and he was passionate about what he believed. But there is no way that he deserved to die. He wasn't threatening anybody. He wasn't harmful to anyone. He wasn't even a politician. He was just somebody who liked to talk to young people and get their views and try to change their minds. And I'm real sad that he's gone. He was highly intelligent. He never did go to college. If you didn't know that, he didn't go to college. I did. I went for 5 years. um, but I definitely would have welcomed him on my debate team. You know, he was very well spoken and didn't let the emotions of somebody else affect his ability to speak. I don't think he held any truly radical beliefs, from what I know. I think he held average beliefs for the most part. I think a lot of people shared a lot of his beliefs. But that's the thing. Nobody requires you to believe like anybody else in the world. It's not a requirement. When I hear an opinion I don't like, I say that's dumb and I move on. That's all there is to it. You know? Yeah, the governor of Utah was in tears talking about Charlie. I agree there, Sherry. I watched the press conference. This is very hard for me to do today. I think normal average Americans are upset by this. Yeah, and he was hurt that a boy from Utah would do that. I mean, when you think about radical places in the United States, Utah is not at the top of the list. I mean, I don't know about you, but I think of Utah as a pretty peaceful place where people live in harmony for the most part. Yeah, I watched the press conference there. That's why I was a little bit distracted in Hillbilly's chat this morning. That and getting ready to do this um but yeah, that came on during Hillbilly's live, and I was like, I have to watch that. I love seeing Cash Patel get up there and speak. When the head, oh, I got goosebumps now. When the head of the FBI is good friends with the guy that got murdered, you knew that Cash Patel was not going to rest. He's still not going to rest, you know. Charlie Kirk was well loved by the president. President Trump was in tears. Benny Johnson, Ben Shapiro, all conservatives, all shocked. Dan Bongino, you know it. But what got me today, the video that got me. Hi, Whiskey Creek, how you doing today? The video that got me today was watching somebody who claimed to be one of Charlie Kirk's biggest opponents, and that person was in tears. Somebody who was diametrically opposed to everything Charlie Kirk had to say, and that guy was in tears. And that's the way it should be. We can disagree all you want, but at the end of the day, we all got to eat. Does that make sense? At the end of the day, we're all the same. We all want good things for our family and our friends. We all want happiness. We all want to be ourselves. We all want right for ourselves. How are the fields today, Whiskey? And here in my chat, everyone is welcome. You know, haters can come to me. I've had to deal with some of them. But I don't want anybody dead. I will never wish death upon anybody. I don't care what they've done in life either. Now, I do believe some people should not walk free again. But I will never wish death upon anybody. I don't have that kind of, I don't have that in me. It's sad when somebody kills another human being. It doesn't matter the reason either. It's sad. Whiskey says he's doing great, just waiting for the sun to dry out the straw. I heard that with my bad ear. So today I thought we'd do a little color along from this book that didn't require much thought. You know, we're coloring shapes here. We're not coloring objects that require much thought. We're coloring in circles and ovals and just going through the process of coloring. That's why I wanted to do this today, because sometimes it's just about sitting down and putting the pencils to the paper or the markers or whatever it is you're coloring with today. Maybe you want to take some washi tape to the whole page. I don't know. I can't get into the washi tape. I wish I could, but there's really no place around here to buy it, and I think that's part of it. I think coloring should be accessible for everybody, and I take it you saw the press conference, Whiskey Creek. Yeah, I mean that's it. Death is a tragedy, but in this case, even the most, I don't want to say hardened, even the most upstanding men that I know are upset about this. And men don't often get emotional. And it's okay if you do. And I understand it completely. And it doesn't take away from the fact that I don't know how to put this exactly. Manly men are crying over this. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. It disconnected for some reason. Right. Yeah. Charlie could have been anybody's brother. Yeah, exactly. All right. Are we back? No, it is not a weakness. That is all the feeling that you have for somebody coming out your eyes. Yeah, a lot of people did, Whiskey. A lot of people did. A lot of people, that I look up to are just devastated. Just absolutely devastated by this. I went to Indiana Wesleyan University. I'll tell you a bit about my background. All right. I went to Indiana Wesleyan University. I went there on a scholarship for reading to kids, by the way. Y'all wonder why I've got that series up. I actually went to college and won a national scholarship and went to Indiana Wesleyan University. And it, had he been at my college, he'd have been somebody I'd have wanted to marry. Literally, he provided for his family. He protected them. He led them. Like I said, I don't have to agree with every belief that he had in order to know that he was a good guy. And that's what hurts everybody. And although I can feel, I feel sorry for the killer. And I know that sounds weird. But who failed him? Who failed him that he had so much hatred in his heart? And why are we failing people as a society? I don't have empathy that he killed him. Let's not go there. But who didn't see that kid, and I'm going to call him a kid, yeah, the killer is Whiskey's age, 22 years old, 21, 22 years old. And I can't understand how you could have such a short life and be so full of hatred when it appeared he came from a normal home. I don't know the full story on the killer yet. Don't even know I don't even have his name memorized. I don't want to memorize his name. But from what I saw, he came from a perfectly normal home. Oh, hello, Aunt. You're not welcome. Where did you go? The ants, I figured it out. The ants can smell the oils in my pencil and they think it's food. There he is. That's the only thing I can think of is that they smell the pencils. But yeah, how at such a young age did you get filled with so much hate? And then I realized, the last 10, 12 years in America, that's all he heard was that horrible rhetoric. And that's got to stop. It's okay to disagree with everybody. People think I'm crazy because I live outside. That's okay. They can think that. I don't care what anybody else thinks. Now, if they act upon it, then there's a problem. Hi, Joe. How are you doing today? Rough day. If they tried to tell me, oh, you can't live outdoors, then we'd be having a problem. But as far as, other people's opinions, they're allowed to think what they want. I'm not asking anybody else to live outside with me, you know? It's just so sad. So we're coloring something simple today, Joe. If you want a copy of it, there's a copy on my community page. If you want to do it in some leather work, do it. I put it out there for free. I've got a friend of mine who uh, takes my patterns and puts them in stained glass, and that's cool to see. I have to see if I can find one of her works and share it maybe sometime. Oh no, Joe, what's going on? Sorry to hear you're having a rough day. Yeah, I hurt. Yeah, on top of everything else, I hurt myself moving furniture to try and get ready for winter. And I pulled a muscle in my side, and I've been dealing with that all week. Oh, yes, it would. I'm sorry to hear that, Joe. I don't know what that is, but that does not sound pleasant. Oh, did I miss Judy coming in? Or, oh, no, just Joe. All right. Um, but I do hope it helps. Oh, ouch. That does not sound fun, Joe. I am so sorry to hear that. A dear friend of mine has to go in and have surgery and have most of her colon removed. And I'm so worried about her. I got that news this week. So, yeah, overall, rough week. When are they going to be doing that, Joe? I do hope it helps. I don't know, maybe something like that. Oh, they did it today. Did it make you feel better, or will it make you feel better? Exactly, TK. It's not our decision to make. I agree with that fully. I don't think anybody has the right to take the life of another human being. I just don't. I don't know, but if I just had a needle stuck in my belly, I'd probably be curled up somewhere in a corner. Thank you, Joe, for stopping in. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, I know, but even if you're used to it, it can't be pleasant. I don't know, there's just something soothing about this color right now for me. It's dioxazine purple hue. Oh, okay. Hang on. I'm going to go close that door, guys, and see if that helps with the noise a little bit. Oh. In the meantime, anybody want to name the kitten? He's been hanging around lately. He likes to sit right next to me, and I have to move him before I can get up. Oh, good name, good name. Yes, it is a boy. Oh, how about Picasso? Oh, I like that too. What do you think? Picasso? Cuddles. He's got sharp claws. He's about 6 months old. Here you go, baby. And if you don't know, I help take care of a pack of ferals, of feral cats. Oh, I moved my thing. And let me get resituated here. Whoops. Anyway, he's from the group of ferals. Some of them come see me and some of them don't. Xanathar from D&D. Is that how I pronounce that? Come on, baby. And now he wants in my lap. You can't get up there. Come on, settle down. I'm sorry I had to move you. Ow, ow, ow. Ow, 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 your sharp claws. All right, all right, all right. Stay in my lap. It's awfully hard to color with him in my lap. Picasso it is. You now have a name. Sometimes they hang around for a while and sometimes they don't. But for whatever, ow, 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 ow. Whatever reason, he has grown very attached to me. Yeah, you're just purring away. I hear you. Can I get my blanket on my lap, though? All right, there we go. Now no more needles. No, you can't get up there. No more needles in my lap. You can't go up there, baby. The ones that hang around close, they get names. Everybody gets fed, everybody gets love and attention, and they have shelter. Yeah, hi, baby. He won't let go of my hand right now. Come on, I gotta get back to work. I'm sorry I moved you. All right, you can have this hand, okay? I feel like I have a toddler. Well, hello, Hillbilly. Thank you for joining us today. We're just talking about the kitty on my lap. I had to move him so I could get up and shut the door. I'm sorry about the noise. I have repeatedly asked the neighbor kindly to not make that noise. It's his air compressor. But, you know, I shut the door and that's the best I can do today, guys. I'm real sorry. We're just coloring a real simple page today, Hillbilly. I like how your page is looking, by the way, from your morning coloring session. R.J. Hampson, what's the name of that book that you're working in? You and Sherry and Monty and I don't know who all else. TK, maybe. Baby, you can't get up there. He wants back up on my table. We've decided to name the kitten Picasso. I was going to go with Wolverine, but... You're welcome, you're welcome. Mountain King, thank you. R.J. Hampson, Mountain King. If you guys are not familiar with him. or with Hillbilly on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Hillbilly usually hosts a coloring chat on his channel. That's Hawaiian Hillbilly. And here in a few weeks, we'll be starting to do some color alongs in a Halloween style for Halloween coming up. Yeah, baby, I love you too. Yes. It'd be nice if I had both my hands to color, though. Can you lay back down and go back to sleep? I am going to be switching my focus soon. From coloring to drawing, though, so I can get that next book done. Not enough hours in the day. I will still have my Tuesday and Friday sessions, though, of coloring. I'm not going to give those up. But the extra videos that I've been doing will switch to drawing videos, probably. I might do some of those. It is a lot of work putting a book together by yourself, I will say that. Not only do you got to draw the pages, but, you know, you got to format it and do all the publishing and do all the advertising and do it all yourself. I figure I do the work of about 6 to 8 people, so it takes me a while longer to get things done. And because it is hand drawn, that's why I only do one a year, you know. Yeah, the deep sea fishing. That's kind of fun to watch, Joe. I've enjoyed that. It's been out for 8 years, but just started replaying it. Yeah, Hillbilly doesn't game unless he's live streaming. I do. I like to wind down with a game before bed a lot of nights. You're really not helping me, kitty. But yeah, it's a sad day when free speech is under attack like that. I mean, let's agree to disagree, and, you know, you go over there and I stay over here. Right, Joe? I play other games too. But I don't think they're appropriate for streaming, but that has to do too with the fact that I have kids that watch my channel. So that's why I don't do certain games. Come on now. Chill out. Yeah, Hillbilly doesn't color unless he's live streaming either. Dude, come on. You gotta lay down. He said, no, I want to play. I want to play. Baby, come on. Civilization. Oh, wow, there's a game I haven't played for a minute and a half. Hey, sometimes I feel like that too, Joe. I'm glad y'all are here today. It is a rough day. And then, you know, another dear friend lost her brother this week. And that's hard. I think for a lot of people this... No, you cannot get up there. A lot of people this week... I tell you what, a kitten, always brings levity to a situation. Always lightens things up. Kittens just want a kitten. And I wish you all could see me trying to keep him off the page. I should not have got up and shut the door. And now all he wants to do is play. I don't stream certain games though because of who watches my channel, so I do enjoy them very much. Well, hello Zach, how are you today? Oh. Yes, animals are a wonder. Yes, you can lay down there. You can lay down there. That's fine. I'll move that. You can lay on that. Now kindly go back to sleep. He's got sharp little claws though, and he hasn't sat still long enough for me to clip him. So when he climbs on my lap, he digs in those claws. My poor legs are torn up. Alright, now he's settling down. He's cleaning himself. Right? Yeah, Joe, sometimes, you know, I've had a lot of streams like that where I'm the only one. Not so much these days, but I have had those streams where nobody is there. I am grateful, I really am, for the farming simulator community for welcoming me with open arms. You know, I'm an old lady who likes to play farming simulator. And color. If it hadn't been for a silly farming game in which I fell in love with the sunflower silo, I wouldn't have met all you. I wouldn't have met all y'all, because I met Hillbilly first, and it exploded from there. And it blew my mind when Hillbilly said, by the way, if you're not busy on Monday at 9 a.m., I do color. I do a coloring live stream, and I went, oh, I gotta do that. Yes, it is helpful to have other people here. It really is. Otherwise, I can talk to myself, but without anybody answering you, it's kind of hard to have a conversation. And I think it takes a minute to get the hang of this. Zach says if it wasn't for him, Joe would have been talking to himself early on in his streaming days, right? And I try to jump around and support everybody as best I can in whatever they're doing. I prefer farming, you know, watching the farming game, but if it's something else, occasionally I'll pop in. And I run around getting everybody likes and views and watch time, and I often fall asleep to one of y'all streaming, by the way. And it's not because the game is boring, but because I'm relaxed. And as an insomniac, I really appreciate it. I have the worst time falling asleep and staying asleep. And that's another reason why I make very calm coloring videos. Because they help me sleep too. And thank goodness YouTube hasn't figured out a way to figure out if you're actually watching or if you fell asleep. But the events of this week have just been hard for everybody, I think. But we don't need to hate. We can disagree. But if you're celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, I don't know what you have wrong in your life. But I feel sorry for you. Like I said, he was, by definition, a good guy. And in my world, the average American. You know, I don't have to go to church anymore to know that there is a higher power and that I believe in him. And I don't have to have his strong beliefs in order to go, yeah, that was the wrong thing. Taking somebody else's life is not the answer. No matter how much you disagree with them. Like I said, I went to Indiana Wesleyan University at one point in time. He would have been the ideal husband. Strong in his faith and what he believed. Provided for his family. Wanted to be a husband. Wanted to be a father, you know. Yes, he wanted discourse, not arguments. It is very tragic. I will not be a participant in celebrating evil or spreading hatred of any kind. I don't have it in me. I'm one of the most accepting, loving, kind people. And it's because I've been through a lot of hard things in life. But why did that make me softer and other people hard? You know, I've been through some horrible things in life. Absolutely horrible. But I'm still here and I want to spread some peace and joy. You know, I don't want to continue down the path of hating the world. I think there are good people in the world. I'm blessed to know all of you, you know. And I won't partake in spreading hatred of any kind. It's not part of me. It's not who I am. And I believe people have a right to speak their mind and hold their beliefs and have their opinions. And yet at the end of the day, we can all still have supper together. That's it, Zach. You got to keep showing the love. You know, and if anybody needs to speak about how they're feeling, go for it. I will listen. I will gladly listen today. I will gladly listen any day. And I think that this part of the problem, too, is that we don't talk about those things enough. Right, exactly. People forget the freedoms that afford you the rights to live as you do are the same rights that are afforded me to mine. Exactly, Joe. Exactly. It goes both ways. Yes, when you silence one, it opens the door for silencing you. Fair is fair. No two ways about it. Fair is fair. If you treat me with kindness and respect, I will do the same for you. Right. I don't have to hang out with people I disagree with. But I won't tell them that they can't have that opinion. I will say I don't think we should, be around each other. I don't want your hatred to rub off on me. And I don't. I mean, part of the reason why I left my ex was because he became aggressive and violent. And I don't want to be around that. I don't want to be around somebody who yells to get their point across. Right, Zach? Exactly. Zach says he respects everyone's opinion. Doesn't mean you have to agree. But they have a right to that opinion. Exactly. And that's the way it should be. Right? And you don't have to live his life either. Yes, and in it harm ye none. That is my guiding principle in life. And in it harm ye none. I have a hard time when the ants come on my page. I usually lift them off the page and throw them off to the side, by the way. So when I say I'm nonviolent, I mean I'm nonviolent. I don't want to hurt anything. Now, I do go fishing in real life once in a while, but I haven't been at all this year, but that's for food. And I think that's different, but I don't want to harm anything. I don't want to partake in the hatred. In my world, I want the dinner table to be big enough that everyone is welcome, as long as we put the disagreements and the hatred aside. I'm not being forced to live somebody else's life. It, oh, there's the train in real life. The other day it went off Whiskey Creek, and I said, oh, I wish Whiskey was here to hear that. What's that? Oh, yeah, Joe would kill an ant. Yeah, I want them out of the RV, and I will get them out, but um, it pains me to do it. How about that? A pigeon flew into your grill? Oh, my. Oh, my. I bet that was not fun. All right. A little darker here. But part of that involves moving the furniture around and getting the cabinets out of here where they like to hide. And that sort of thing. But the next phase should be happening this weekend, where I'll be moving the furniture around so I can demolish some cabinets and get them out of here and open up the space even further. Oh, it was still alive in there. Oh my. Well, I'm glad you got him out. But yeah, I'm not a violent person. I am peace, love, and follow your own dreams. If you want to If you want to worship a rock, go for it. I think rocks are beautiful, by the way. And I think it's amazing that something was formed that many years ago, and we get the blessing of seeing it today. I like that. Hmm. Yeah, the tarot bait works well. I don't like using it, but it does work well. Oh, I absolutely wish you all could come over for dinner. We'd have a great time. Zach says he almost had a turkey fly into his windshield this morning. Oh my goodness. Right. As long as you're not harming anybody, I don't care what you do. I don't. We'd have some tacos or pizza or something. I think we're gonna go back to the lighter purple, the Parma violet, and do these little circles, I think. I wish they had those teleporters so we could do that. All sit around the campfire together. Pretty soon, I'm going to try and figure out how to uh, get my farming simulator game outside. And I'm going to set up a campfire and I'm going to stream the campfire and the game at the same time. I'm going to figure out how to do that. That's what I want to do anyway. With dark coming at 8 p.m. now, that it's not unheard of. Sherry says tacos. Yep, I love tacos. I had some breakfast burritos for breakfast this morning, actually. I mean, tacos are awesome because, everybody can make their own and you can fill them up. We actually always, on Christmas Eve, we do tacos and burritos and nachos. And we've done that most of my life on Christmas Eve. That's what we do. Anybody who wants to stop by can stop by and have a taco, visit for a bit, a plate of nachos if you want. But everybody can make their own. And I like that. I like that about tacos. You provide all the ingredients and, well, in real life, TK, I might talk your ear off. You never know. Joe used to do lasagna for Christmas. Right? I don't, for me, a normal Christmas dinner is tacos. Oh, bless your heart. Bless your heart, Joe. Right? I don't know. Lasagna for Christmas sounds really good. But it for us, it all started in high school. Of course, begging mom and dad to let us open up our Christmas presents. And so we'd have tacos on Christmas Eve, and then at midnight, we would get to open up one present, and then we'd go to bed, and then the next morning, we'd open up the rest of them. Well, eventually that midnight hour got pushed further and further earlier in the evening. And before you knew it, we were having these big, grand taco, burrito, nacho celebrations. Traditions are so important, Joe. It is. I can understand why. Zach is a barbecue kind of guy. So, do you like smoke a brisket for Christmas, Zach? I know our friends in New Zealand, Australia often go to the beach for Christmas or have a barbecue, and I was always so jealous of that growing up. What do you mean you don't have snow at Christmas? Ah, Zach does a smoked turkey. Billy says, I just as soon have a bologna sandwich for Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner as he would anything else, just keeping it simple. That works too, Hillbilly. I haven't had bologna for a long time now. That does sound good. Might have to put that on the shopping list. Ah, Joe has friends who does seafood for Christmas. Oh, I bet that's good. I just did up a big fish fry not too long ago. Nothing fancy, just some walleye and some catfish and some crappie. But that's the extent of my seafood. I don't cook a lot of seafood. I don't eat a lot of seafood, but depends on what it is. When I was in New Zealand, we went out in the ocean and actually gathered these little mussels that they have in the ocean there that they call tuatuas. And we ate those for lunch, and that was fun. They did have a very strong taste. I will say that, and I wasn't used to that, but it was an interesting experience. But yeah, just anywhere you wanted to go, you were allowed to go out in the ocean and harvest the shellfish out there. Didn't need a license or anything. Just go out and help yourself. Which was a weird thing about New Zealand is the free beaches. You know, the beaches everywhere along the coast, and you could just drive up, park, and walk to the beach. Zach likes fried bologna with mayo and onions. Ooh, that sounds good. Ooh, barbecue bologna for Thanksgiving. Oh, now that sounds good. Zach used to harvest mussels every summer, right? It is so much fun. Hillbilly says in Hawaii they would hibachi on the grill on the beach for Christmas. Oh man. See, now that would be nice. I think that would be fun. You know, I'm landlocked here, so anything that has to do with the ocean or the beach just sounds like so much fun to me. Not quite the same just going down to the river and doing it in 30-degree weather, you know. Although it's been cooler here this weekend. We're supposed to get in the 80s, and a friend of mine did ask, "Hey, can we go kayaking this weekend?" So you never know. I might show up with a live stream this weekend of being in the kayak too. Might call that a last hurrah. spam spam mushubi. I don't know what that is. Ah, there's a Hawaiian restaurant in Tulsa that Joe goes to. Nice. In Virginia, Zach says he used to do deep fried soft shell crab. Oh my. No, I've never had anything like that. See, that's what I mean. Food brings everybody together. It just does. Food is one of my love languages. I do love to cook. For those that I love and hold near in my heart, I just wish I just wish I found somebody that would cook for me. I'm always cooking for everybody else. I'm ready for somebody else to cook for me. Loco Moco. I don't know what that is. Hillbilly wishes he could have poke, which is raw fish, where he's living now. Ooh, my. Zach says you can only get soft shell crab 1 month a year when they molt their shell. Yeah, I did not know that. Yeah, maybe if we had more discussions about food and less about hate, the world would be a better place. I often thought about starting a cooking channel, and then I thought, nah, a lot of people cook. Mine would be a cooking channel that goes, you just measure that with your heart. You know, poke. Poke. Is that how you pronounce it? Zach says he can talk food all day. All right. That's what I said. Food brings people together. It really does. At the end of the day, everybody has to eat. Sweet Home Alabama just came on the radio. And you know, I was only in New Zealand for 3 weeks, but I miss it dearly. I do. I loved it there. But here I'm around, I'm around my other family here, my mom, my dad, my brother, my nieces, my nephews, their kids. I would go back and visit, though. I would go back and visit in a heartbeat. And we booked our plane tickets. Let's see. We booked them October 2001. And we went in February of 2002. And if you know your history at all, that was right after 9/11. I was scared. I'm not going to lie. I was still scared in February to take a plane. But I was one of those people that, right after it happened, shortly thereafter, I was booking the tickets because they said, everybody go fly. So I'm one of the ones that literally did. Sherry doesn't eat any kind of fish. I understand that too. Hillbilly says his favorite dish in Hawaii was katsu curry noodle from a Japanese restaurant. Ooh, Japanese noodle, you got me right there. I like noodles. All right, we're going to take this Crimson Lake. I think we're going to do these bits right here. And this is the important thing, about sitting down and coloring is, not all coloring has to be masterpieces. It doesn't. It doesn't have to be hangable on your wall. You guys have seen a lot of my irrelevant coloring pages where I just color one little thing or I use it as a test page for other colors. Sometimes it's just sitting down and getting the color on the page. And on days like today when the world feels so heavy, sometimes that's all you need. It really is. It's relaxing, it's simple, it's not complicated. And then you have good friends that stop by and keep you company, and I really appreciate that, everybody. Somebody's beating something outside. It's that time of year to get the outdoor chores done before winter sets in. It's on my to-do list. We've still got things growing in the garden too. We've still got potatoes to harvest, but tomatoes, and still some green beans. We hope we'll make it another batch. The garden's been good to us this year. We did get a few green beans canned, and we got, I think, 14 or 15 bags of tomatoes in the freezer. Oh, homemade udon noodles. Nice, hillbilly. That sounds yummy. Right, Joe? Hey, it's one of those things that. What's everybody's favorite food? Since we're on the subject of food, what's everybody's favorite food? If you could only eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be? I think we already hit on mine, and that would be tacos. If I could only have one food the rest of my life, it would be tacos. I could eat those every day. But now that winter is coming, a good pan of chicken and dumplings. Now that hits the spot too. Joe says bacon. Oh, good deal, Sherry. I hope you get some. I'm glad that the weather has cooled off for you. Zach says a good pulled pork sandwich. Oh, man. You know what you do with that pulled pork? You put it on nachos. That's what you do with that pulled pork. Uh huh. That's some good stuff. Pulled pork nachos right there. Sherry agrees with the tacos. Joe with the bacon or the hamburgers. Hey, I'm there too. Hillbilly says, my three meats, shells, and cheese. Oh, yes, a good macaroni and cheese. Oh, you can't beat that. Really hard to, anyway. Oh, yeah, you agree about the pulled pork taco or pulled pork nachos? If you all haven't had pulled pork nachos before, you got to try it. Get some barbecue sauce going on there. Oh, that's good. And lots of some cheese up there. Oh, man. That's good stuff. Or pulled pork mac and cheese. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I like, great. Now I'm going to have to get a pork roast so I can do some pulled pork. Hillbilly says pulled pork with fried cabbage on rice. Oh, nice. Joe has pulled pork nachos once a month and then a barbecue. Oh, I'm going to Joe's house. I haven't had pulled pork nachos for a while now, so now I'm going to have to do it. Brisket or pulled pork on the bottom, barbecue beans, slaw, and then potato salad on top. Oh, yeah. Get that all going there. Oh, now I'm really hungry. And I'm definitely going to have to be doing a pulled pork. I just haven't done one for a while. We got a deal on a half a cow earlier this year, a couple months ago, and we've been eating our way through that. That's nice not to have to run to the grocery store for hamburger, I'm telling you what. I love our farmers. And I'm sorry that we waited so long to do it. We will do it again in a heartbeat when we're out. Fresh beef tastes absolutely nothing like what you get at the store. It really doesn't. And that goes like most stuff out of the garden too. If you can grow it yourself, it just tastes so much better than what's at the store. I actually like the way that looks. I don't think I want to smooth it out anymore. I like that. Cajun slaw on a pulled pork sandwich. Joe says you add the shredded lettuce and toss it with the Cajun mayo and add shrimp and tomatoes and onions on top. Oh, yeah. Well, hello, Duke. How are you today? Ah, Duke says he just got done painting the tractor head and some small miscellaneous parts a nice pretty red. It's a red kind of day, Duke, it really is. Yes, post the pictures, put up the recipes. I'm down for that, Joe. I don't know what that means, Duke, but I do understand it's slowly going back together, and that's a good thing. I am not very mechanically inclined. Yes, we got talking about food. You know, we were talking about having the freedom to speak your mind earlier in light of all that's happened this week and how we've got to lead by example, really, and not engage in hateful rhetoric of any kind. I think that's the bottom line. People can have their own opinions and we don't have to agree with them. At the end of the day, though, we all got to eat. And so it's okay to disagree, but you don't need to take it, and to live your life differently or live it how you want because this is America. Let's start acting like Americans and give people the same freedoms that we are all afforded. And the basic freedom is the right to speak your mind and not worry about somebody coming along and killing you for it. I mean, that is not the American way. And then we got to talking about food and talking very little about coloring. And that's fine. Today is a talking day, not a getting a lot done day. And some days are like that. Some days you talk more than what you do. And that's another point I want to touch on is that you don't always have to be productive. I'm glad you stopped by. I'm glad you stopped by too, Zach. Yes, yes, they are saying they caught the guy, Duke. And it's sad that it was what appears to be someone from a very normal background who just went crazy. And I don't understand it. And that's sad. But we can disagree with our neighbors and not go around killing them. That's wrong. Everybody has a right here in America to their opinion. I wish it was the same worldwide. I don't like some of the laws in the other countries that don't allow people that freedom to speak their mind. Now, I agree there are some types of speech, like inciting a riot. I don't think that should be allowed, but, you don't get to yell, there's a fire in the theater. But that has nothing to do with, holding an opinion and everything to do with how you treat other people. You still have a right to think, that you should be able to do that. But when it affects somebody else, you don't have a right to go over that line. We can disagree all day long, and you can stay in your lane and I'll stay in mine. And that's a hard concept for a lot of people to grasp. A lot of people today are having a hard time with it, even though they caught the killer or who they say is the killer. I hope they can prove it in, a court of law, and I hope justice prevails. That is not the same as saying I wish the killer dead. I don't. I don't wish anybody dead. Okay? Ever. It's not in me. It's not part of my makeup. I do feel sorry for those who can't see past their own hatred and who won't allow other people to disagree with them respectfully. I said earlier I was part of the debate team in high school and college, and there are rules for a good debate. And people aren't taught them anymore. The father, from what I heard, the father held him captive until the police could come and get him. Because the father was a policeman as well. So I'd imagine he took his boy and handcuffed him down, and kid couldn't go anywhere. I'm guessing. Well, I don't know if it would be hard though on him, Joe, because he's a law enforcement officer himself. I believe that it was hard for him to accept that his kid did it. I mean, any parent would. And I hope the family gets counseling. I hope they get support. I actually do, because I don't think they're a bad family from what I've seen. I mean, they all just lost their son too. And their son is not who they thought he was. And I bet right now they're kicking themselves that they didn't see the signs, or they didn't do this, or they didn't do that. And in that sense, I feel bad for them. I do. And I think that's what's hard for many Americans to grasp right now, or many people to grasp, is that from the outside, it looked like just like an average family. I don't understand anybody who harbors that much. How do you have the energy for that much hate? Yeah, morality won out on that one, Joe. I agree. At the same time, he took a life, and he has to face the consequences of that action. And I am glad that I am not the one to determine his fate. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Hold on. Everyone, I'm sorry. I will be right back. Oh, I am real sorry about that, everyone. I'm back. Let me catch my breath here. Let me get a drink. For those of you who don't know, my parents are both 78 years old, and I do a lot for them. My mother is not in the best of health, and she just called me on the phone, which is highly unusual because she knows on Tuesdays and Fridays I live stream. And so if she needs help with something, she usually calls somebody else, namely my dad. And apparently she was trying to call my dad and not me. But when she called, then I thought it was an emergency. And so that's why I abruptly left, and I apologize for that. But nothing comes before my mama. Ever, not in a million years. If mama wants something, mama gets it. You know, I don't have much time left with her. But that kind of scared the bejesus out of me, as you can imagine. Yeah, that's a fast heartbeat. Exactly, Sherry. Yes, I'm glad she's fine. She needed my dad to help her with the laundry, you know. But that scared me. And then I couldn't get her to answer my, with live streaming, then my phone was, so I just ran in the house real quick because I couldn't get the phone to answer for whatever reason. So I just ran in the house, and I ran in the house. Doggy. Take those slow, deep breaths. Yeah, and I think people should be fired for celebrating death. I think that's wrong and disgusting. You don't celebrate death. Yeah, I'm glad it was too, Duke. I know you feel the same about your mama as I feel about mine, and that is you will literally drop anything you are doing for them. I will not celebrate anybody's death ever. Even when well, in my lifetime it would have been Saddam Hussein. Even when they killed him, I didn't celebrate it. And he was by definition a bad dude. But at one point in time he was not bad. And, you don't start off in this world as a bad person. It's a complicated topic to talk about, but it's important that we talk about it. And it's important to get these thoughts out. I don't want to be part of the world where okay, I will say it because this has been on my mind. The leftists, or those celebrating right now the death of Charlie Kirk, reminds me exactly of what happened in the Middle East when 9/11 happened. I mean, the people celebrating now make me feel like they absolutely hate America. I mean, how can you hate literally an average American male for being an average American male? I don't think he had any extreme ideology in him. Nothing that he believed, I don't think was extreme. I think it was average. But to see those people cheering reminds me exactly of what happened after 9/11 in the Middle East. And seeing all those people cheering as the Twin Towers came down was heartbreaking. I saw it, I watched it on TV. Yes, they need to get people who promote the violence off TV. Duke says his cell phone did a real loud alarm around 9 p.m. for another alert, scared the bejesus out of him. Yes, I do not like it when my phone goes off and I'm not expecting it. It does scare the bejesus out of me, and that is why, and this is going to sound horrible, but that is why, unless it is critical for me to get up in the morning, I don't set an alarm clock, because it scares the bejesus out of me. So I try not to have anywhere to go in the mornings that is critical, because I don't like doing that to myself. I have a hard enough time sleeping as it is. Insomnia is awful. I wouldn't wish it upon anybody. I sleep in 2-hour naps. That's it. I sleep for 2 hours, then I wake up. Then I sleep for 2 hours and I wake up. And if I'm lucky, I'll do that 3 times in an evening, and then I'm ready to get up for the day. I think, and I don't know, I don't understand why we can't all agree that he had a right to free speech. I mean, for me, that's the bottom line. All right, Joe, please be careful on the road and take good care of yourself. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Have a beautiful day. Yes, he was trying to teach them a skill that is lacking in our educational system today, and that is the ability to think for yourself instead of just spewing out whatever you hear from somebody else. He wanted our young kids in college to be able to think for themselves. And that's a good thing, you know? It's a really good thing to be able to not just spew back information that you heard, but to actually analyze it and think about it and draw your own conclusions and decide what's right for you. And absolutely, I don't agree with everything anyone has to say. Period. I don't. I am weird and have my own mind, and I don't 100% agree with anyone. Ever. At least I haven't found that person anyway. Be nice if I could find a clone of myself that would, agree with everything I had to say, but that, not possible. I don't think that's possible in life. But I can't celebrate death. I can't do it. It doesn't matter who they are. And I don't agree with people who do. Um, and even, President Trump is torn up in a half over this. And Kash Patel and Benny Johnson and Ben Shapiro and, those are the people that are trying to make a difference and bring back some peace and love in the world. It's not the left, it's not the left. The left is dividing us. It is one thing to have a solution for a country's problem and to make that to be fair to everyone. You can't offer a solution for just a portion of the population. It has to be good for everybody, and that's a hard position to be in, to be a lawmaker these days. Yes, critical thinking is lacking. And whatever new laws, at this point in time, we don't need a lot of lawmakers. We have a lot of laws in this country that pretty much cover every topic available. Now we need enforcement of the laws that we do have. But everybody has a right to get married. Everybody has a right to be free from harm, to speak their mind. Now, that is not to say that you can say whatever you want on Facebook. That's a different story. They have community guidelines for a reason. But in your own home, in your own space, talking to whoever you want to, you're allowed to say whatever it is you want, and nobody gonna come after you, or at least they're not supposed to. As long as you, don't do anything about it, actions are different than words. We can discuss things all day long, but if you do an evil act, you don't deserve that freedom anymore. I hope I'm making sense. I it's hard. It is hard. I'm glad that we opened this up today for further discussion. Everybody needs a place to express feelings. And I'm never afraid of feelings. They're just feelings. Yeah, that's all Charlie Kirk was doing, was just asking logical questions and challenge them on what they said. I don't see how he was harming anybody at all. You don't have to like the guy to respect his right to go and do that. Not at all. But he most definitely did not deserve to die. Not at all. And I don't see how anything that he thought or said was actually hurting anyone or a danger to anyone. It wasn't like he was encouraging people to go out and kill other people or to rob stores or anything of that nature. He wasn't. He was not advocating for violence or anything of that. And even if he didn't disagree with somebody, he didn't believe he had the right to judge them. I mean, he didn't judge people either. You could tell. He honestly wanted to hear what they had to say. And that's the thing, is that everybody who went to talk to him at these, gatherings on the college campuses, they were there of their own free will. They didn't have to go and listen to him. It wasn't a requirement. There was no requirement for graduation that you had to go and talk to Charlie Kirk. Now, I could see a professor giving out extra credit if you got Charlie Kirk to change his mind, but that's very rare. And that would be limited to, political science majors or writing majors or, people of that nature to get that extra credit. If you could debate Charlie Kirk and win your argument against him, so to speak. But he wasn't hurting nobody. And that's what's scary, is that, this kid, for whatever reason, felt threatened by somebody who wasn't harming anybody. Right. He was encouraging people to read books and learn without spending money on an education you could learn for free. Exactly. Yes, Zach, I feel horrible for his wife and kids. Hillbilly says it's some of those laws that is the root of the problem. America has legalized sin so much now that people have the right to be immoral. Right? And I don't. Okay, I'm gonna pick on poor California for a minute, Sherry. I'm sorry. But when they started allowing rioters and looters to get away with it, that should have been stopped. Oh, hey, it's only items. No, that's somebody's business. That's somebody's livelihood. Oh, there's insurance to cover those costs. No, that makes insurance costs go up. Looting somebody's store is wrong, period. And they shouldn't have relaxed those laws to say, oh, theft of X number of dollars is okay. No, it isn't. I don't believe that at all. It's still theft. You took something that wasn't yours. Well, in all fairness, too, Sherry is getting out of California, so she doesn't agree with everything there either, I'm sure. Right. Yeah, now insurance companies aren't covered in California. Now, I did go to college and I did spend a fair amount of money on college, even though it was back in the 90s. But I learned a lot. I actually learned. Looting shut down Nike and North Face in Portland, Oregon. Exactly. I mean, all they did was destroy people's lives. And that's not cool. I don't agree with that By all means, if you don't like a company, don't buy their products. If you like their products, don't steal from them. And that one touches on something near and dear to my heart. I gave away a freebie today. I put up this picture for everybody to come in and color if they wanted to today or whenever. And I don't mind giving pictures away for people to color. I'd love it if y'all bought my books, and I know some of you have. But if I find out that anybody takes my image and tries to claim it as their own, oh, you betcha we're going to have a problem. I don't take kindly to theft. Yes, Sherry and Hillbilly have. That I'm aware of. Yes, protesting and rioting are two totally different things. I don't care if you protest with a sign on the front lawn of your local courthouse saying you hate bunny rabbits, okay? Go for it. But if you step out into the street and impede somebody else's ability to go about their life, that's no longer a peaceful protest. I don't know of anybody that hates bunny rabbits, but it's just an example. And people have got to go back to actually peacefully protesting, write the letters, show up on the courthouse lawn, but don't get in the way of anybody else doing their job or running their life or anything like that. That's no longer peaceful. Don't be threatening the passerbys. Don't be harming their cars. Don't be standing in front of them so they can't go about their day. That's not peaceful. That's interrupting somebody's life. They didn't ask to be a part of your protest. And I just wish our leaders would understand that. It's not okay to shut down the expressway so this group of people can walk on it. It's not okay. That's not what expressways are for. It's not okay to commandeer a bridge. It's not okay. We have all got to start being kinder to one another. And giving people the space to be themselves, and at the same time knowing that there are just certain behaviors that you just do not do. In America, you have a right to believe and feel however you want, but not when it impedes on somebody else's right to do the same. I don't blame you, Zach. I do not blame you one bit for leaving. Yes, community college and tech college is good. Teaching skills. Yes, absolutely. Zach, that is an awesome skill to have. I wish you could come and help me tear out the cabinets and put new ones in. You know, help me put up some walls here. My dad did a lot of woodworking um, when I was growing up, and I learned a lot of skills from him. I wish I knew more, but we're going to go with what I've got. Oh, Sherry, that is sad. My most useful skill that I was taught in high school was typing. And I don't have that skill anymore because I don't have the hand ability for it. I can't get all my fingers moving in the same direction at the same time anymore. And I miss having a good, solid, marketable skill like that. You know, if you can type, you can go a lot of different places. I can punch on a screen now, but a physical keyboard I cannot do. Yes, construction is bad on your back. It is hard. It is hard labor. No doubt about that. Hillbilly says we have rioting over things that are happening in other countries as if burning down a building in America will make foreign countries stop doing what they are doing. Exactly, Hillbilly. Exactly. What sense does it make to burn our infrastructure down? How is that going to impact another country? It's not. How is that going to change a law? It's not. It's not going to make anybody treat anybody any better either. It's just going to make people angry with each other. It does not do one bit of good. It doesn't harm the people you think you're harming. You'd be surprised, Duke, how many jobs. Okay. A couple years ago, I had a discussion with a counselor, a jobs counselor, and they told me if you do not have the ability to type or write, write your name or write anything or type anything, if you don't hold one of those two abilities, there are no jobs in the United States of America where you can work. It is required that you either can type or write. So I don't think that applies. Even though the AI speech to text is great, it is not perfect, and a lot of the business applications are not set up yet for it. We don't have the infrastructure there yet. Oh, Zach, that sounds beautiful. Zach now lives out in the woods in Oregon. Much more peaceful. I agree. I would rather be out in the middle of nowhere. Sherry recently discovered that the crime rate in her little town is comparable to Kansas City, Missouri, but that there's only 12,000 people in her town. Oh wow, that's sad. Now I think, Duke, maybe in 20 years that won't be the case. But a lot of businesses haven't caught up with all that technology yet. So I'm not sure that we're quite there yet. And since I struggle with both typing and writing, I am not a candidate for any job currently in the United States because I don't have those abilities. I can poke at a screen. I can't do it fast or consistently, believe it or not. Or I should say, I can't do it fast enough for most business applications. I can't write very fast, and that all has to do with the accident that I was in. I don't have those skills anymore. I was so thrilled after the accident when I could finally write my name again and have it look like my signature a little bit before the accident. I mean, in the middle of the recovery, it came time for me to renew my driver's license. And I went in there and I explicitly stated, this is not my normal signature. And they're like, well, just use your signature for now. Yes, a stenographer, less keys on their keyboards. True enough. But they still have to go at an awfully fast pace, and that's what I can't do consistently. I cannot move my hands consistently at a good pace. I mean, you guys have seen how many times I stop. Take a little break here and there. But that's why I now work for myself. Because I'm not going to yell at me if I can't do something that day. Because no other boss in the world is going to accept, hey, boss, I'm working from bed today. Most of them don't take too kindly to that. And most people don't understand, you know, hello, you just wrote your name. What do you mean you can't fill in this form? Well, yeah, I wrote my name, but the rest of it's going to be hard for me. So either you're going to help me do it, or we're going to sit here for a very long time. So I have to have help with stuff like that. Like I said, it took me a long time to be able to color again. Or to hold a pencil or anything. And this now comes to my PSA. Slow down on the roads out there. Give yourself room in between vehicles, because if you don't, then you could injure somebody like me who was just going to try to pick up a kiddo for Christmas Day. And my life, please. Pay attention to your surroundings. Get your eyes checked regularly. I think that was probably part of the problem with the woman who hit me. She was an older lady. And the car I was driving was gray. Of course, you know, the road that I was on was gray. And when she says she didn't see me, she had to have been following too closely. That's all I can say. Give people room on the roads. Leave 5 minutes earlier, etc., etc. I was pulling over for a funeral when it happened, and in the state of Indiana, it is required on all roadways that you pull over when a funeral procession is passing by. Procession is passing by. Well, hello, Jay. How are you today? We're talking about freedom of speech today. Yeah, I'm a two-finger hunt and peck kind of typer. Yes, I cannot do the full keyboard anymore. I'm doing okay. I'm doing better now that I'm surrounded by friends. You know, the news of the world is not good this week. And been hard to deal with. You know, some poor guy that was just going around talking to kids, you know, gets brutally murdered. From a seemingly from the outside normal kid, normal young adult. Quite scary. You know, we should all have the freedom to speak what's on our mind without the fear of somebody killing us. You know, nobody has to believe the same as anybody else. But here in America, you know, we all have our right to our opinions. As long as you don't impede my rights to live a free life, you can go have your opinions elsewhere. Or we can agree to disagree, but you don't have the right to kill somebody because they thought differently than you. It's just not right. It's called having a difference of opinion. At the end of the day, we all sit down at the same table and eat. And it's time the hatred stopped. Oh my gosh. Zach says he witnessed the car get ran off the road because someone decided to pass a log truck into oncoming traffic. Oh, that is not cool. That is not cool at all, Zach. I hope everybody was okay. Yes, road rage is scary. Someone with hate and road rage is scary. Yeah, so we're just doing a little coloring today, Jay, that isn't critical. You know, we're not going to hang these on our walls or anything like that. And if you want to color it too, it's on my page. But sometimes just the act of coloring is calming. It helps you get out emotions. You know, I'm coloring with red today because I'm pretty angry. You know, that happened, and red is the color of anger. So we're putting it down on paper. And I like red and purple together, so hey, here we are. I invited the whole county where I live to come today too. I put the invitation out. If you're having a hard time dealing with this, come sit and talk and color for a bit. I want more peace in the world, and I want more love, and I want more understanding and acceptance and the agreement to disagree. Here in America, you're not forced to do anything as an adult that you don't want to do. Well, I mean, there are consequences to certain actions like stealing or, killing somebody. But I mean, as far as the day-to-day life goes, you're allowed to think what you want. You're allowed to feel what you want. And you should be free from harm in all of that. You shouldn't be worried about violence or harm coming to you. Last night, I'm going to tell you about a little incident that happened last night here in my little town. I'll admit last night I was scared for a little bit because I heard loud cursing voices out on the street. I don't know what they were going on about. I have no idea. But they were very loud and they were very close. And that scared me. I mean, I had my defensive weapons ready and I had my phone ready to call 911, the whole 9 yards, And I live in a very small town, and that's kind of scary. I didn't feel necessarily unsafe about the town itself, but whoever was trained in real life. But in light of everything that just happened, I was on edge for a while until they calmed down and went away. Zach says he drives to cruise around. He enjoys driving, never in a hurry to get anywhere. I'm not in a hurry to get anywhere either, Zach. I would rather arrive alive. So I'm never in a hurry. Not when I'm driving. There's too much weight behind that vehicle. I mean, just not my thing. And I'm sure I upset people because I don't hurry. Yeah, I'm coloring in red and Duke was painting in red today. Yeah, red is the color of anger. So I'm coloring in red today. Red is also a pretty color, but traditionally it's the color of anger. Well, I can't wait to see the after, Duke, on your tractor. It's supposed to be in the 80s here this weekend. I'm hoping to get some stuff done with the RV this weekend, but we'll see. I'm going to sharpen this pencil real quick. If I can find my sharpener. Oh, there it is. Thank you, Zach, so much for stopping by today. I appreciate it. Enjoy your lunch. Have a taco or some nachos for me. And Billy says he's a former over-the-road driver and he doesn't get mad when other drivers do stupid stuff. Now, I do get upset a little bit when they do stupid stuff. I will say that, but it is not road rage. I might yell at them from my front seat, but that's as far as it goes. I don't take retaliation or anything like that. Have a beautiful day, Zach. I'm really glad you came today. Yeah, it'll be real nice when it's done, Duke. Are you covered in paint now, Duke? Paint and oil? Oh, let's do this one. You know, a lot of people look down on anybody that has dirty hands, but I don't. Because dirty hands mean you were probably working pretty hard. And it is admirable for anybody who can do something with their hands. I'm not very mechanical, but I try. On certain things. Now, certain things I just don't have the strength to do. That those days are behind me. I didn't tell you all. The other day I was driving into town to go get some groceries, and there was a case harvester dumping his load right next to the road. And it's a small country road that I was on. And oh my goodness, coming right up next to that harvester. It was so big. Blew my mind. Thank you so much, Jay. I appreciate you stopping in. I hope you have a beautiful weekend. I hope to see you online this weekend. I understand going picking up the necessities. Be safe on the road. Well, hello. How are you, Blaze? The artistic biker, everybody has joined us today. Thank you for coming in today. How are you? Happy Friday. Got one leaving, one coming in. We've been talking today about the importance of sometimes just sitting down and coloring. And letting your anger come out on the page. You know, I'm pretty angry about what's happened with the death of Charlie Kirk. I don't think it was right. So I'm working that out on paper today with some red. I can't believe that there are people in the United States celebrating his death. I mean, that's a third world Middle Eastern 9/11 response. And I can't believe that there are my fellow Americans that would hate somebody so much for having an opinion. All he did was talk to young people. I don't have it in me to celebrate anybody's death. And I don't understand those that do. You know, if you want to influence young people, then you go to the college campuses and you talk to them. You know, you had the same opportunity he did. I just don't understand the hate. We can all have a different opinion and still get along at the end of the day. So we're doing some simple coloring today. And I think you understand that as an artist. When something like that happens, it's hard to focus on anything else. And sometimes it's just putting the color to the page that helps. Just real simple. And just opening up the discussion to talk about, you know, what people are feeling today. Been very hard. I know you hosting your morning show, the next morning after this happened, and even today, had to have been tough. And that's part of the reason why I still came on today. You know, you got up and did it. I can get up and do it. I'm glad to see you too. Yes, meditative therapy. Exactly. You get it. And that's why we're here today. You know, I gave away this, you know, if anybody wants to color along today, I put it up and out there for people to download and color and print off and color away if they want. Because yes, sometimes you need something that's not that stressful, not that important. You know, you don't always have to paint a masterpiece or color a masterpiece that you're going to hang on the wall. Sometimes it is just flat out therapy. Just to sit and do the repetitive strokes. And have it be just an exercise in practice and putting down color. You know, y'all have watched me now poke at this for quite some time. And I haven't gotten very far on it. And that's okay. My goal is to try to make all these leaves kind of look the same here. Oh, Duke, I have no doubt there's more to it than what they say on the news. I don't know. Yes, it does. It does. Absolutely, it knocks the wind out of you when something like this happens. I mean, by all definition, Charlie Kirk was a good guy. He was respectful and kind and wanted the best for his family. And I think that's the majority of Americans. They all want the same things. You know, we all want what's best for our family. We want no harm to come to anybody. He wasn't out there advocating for violence or anything like that. And that's what's truly sad about it, is that some people thought he should be dead for the way he thought, and that's not right. You know, everybody in America has a right to think the way that they want, and nobody has the right to take that away from anybody. Right, Sherry? It's not a day to have to produce things. It's a day to sit back and reflect and just poke at it. And just poke at things. And sometimes that's what you need, you know. I need to look at all the red. Right? Well, no, I can't either. I can't even do that, Duke, because they knew what they were getting into when they approached him to speak. You know, it's not like he's been doing this for one day. I mean, by now they know that he's out there to have a good conversation and that you probably won't convince him otherwise. Yeah, Billy says he's still in shock, having learned that not all coloring pages have to be hung on the wall. Perfect. Who knew? I did, and that's why I advocate for everybody to have a book like this for times like these. That's why I made the book, Hillbilly. Absolutely. When you only have, or when you only have a few minutes, or when you want to test out colors, or when you just need to sit and not produce. You know, there's such a pressure in our world that we have to be productive and we have to be perfect and we have to, do this or that. No, we don't. Some days you just sit with your red crayon, so to speak, and color out your feelings. It's tough. It is a tough day. But this helps. And, when you surround yourself with like-minded individuals who are there to support you and they listen and hear what you have to say, absolutely that's important. Maybe that's what the shooter didn't have. Maybe the shooter didn't have somebody that actually listened to them. Oh, Sherry, I imagine that did tear you up. Duke says, so then what? Do you hang it on a door or a window instead? Ha ha ha. No, I date it and I leave it in the book. Well, sometimes I don't even date it. I just leave it in the book. But we need to slow down, I think, in society. At the end of the day, we all have to eat. And at the end of the day, we all have the right to eat in peace. But I tell you what, after this week, there are some people that are not welcome at my dinner table. And that doesn't come from a place of hatred. It comes from a place of, I don't want your negative energy. I don't wish ill on anybody ever. It is not in me. I am not hardened like that. I wish that everybody could be prosperous and happy and have joy and peace in their heart. And it's kind of scary that another guy that thought that way, pretty much, is dead because of it. Duke would put it on the ceiling. Of course you would. Hibbo says he's only actually dated a couple of the pages that he's colored. Well, you know what, though, Duke? You can go back on your live streams and see when it was you colored them, too. You've got that all documented already. Right. Exactly, Blaze. Blaze won't let them starve, but they won't sit at your table. Right. That is how I feel. No one deserves to starve. Everybody deserves to eat. But there are just certain people now that I don't want that energy. I don't want that negativity. I don't want that hatred. I would rather be surrounded by supportive, happy people who are, trying to do better for themselves in life and who enjoy life and let others have their own opinions without this need to wish them harm. My karma bank does not work like that. I can't even wish harm on people that have harmed me, okay? I don't have it in me. You know, if something happens between the two of us and we are no longer friends for whatever reason, I don't wish you ill. I wish you a better life. All right, Duke, no problem. You know, it just, wow, I can't believe, and I wanna know the story behind the shooter. I do. I mean, he looked like he came from a normal family, and that's the other thing is that people who are celebrating, a lot of them from the outside just look like normal people. You know, they do. I tell you what, though, these teachers who are celebrating, I respect and value teachers so, so much. But if you are celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, you don't deserve to teach any children. I said it. You do not deserve to be a teacher if you have that much hatred in your heart. That's part of the problem. Go find another job. But do not be teaching our kids that that sort of behavior is okay. That is vile. That's one of the things that's really gotten me, is to see teachers celebrating his death. I don't get it. You know, as a teacher, you should be somebody who is open to different ideas and different thoughts and people having different beliefs. Again, I don't wish them ill. I wish them to have a different job other than teaching our kids. Probably get a lot of hate for that, but it is what it is. And you know, I should have a right to my opinion. That's what bothers me in all this, is that somebody thought he didn't have a right to his own opinion. And I have, you know, I used to be on the debate team, and I believe firmly that everybody has a right to their own opinion. And as long as you're not hurting anybody else, what's the problem? You know? Yeah, yeah. His father was a law enforcement officer, and he turned him in. And I haven't heard the whole story yet, but when he said, when the announcement came out that the father detained him and that he was a law enforcement officer, I can imagine he put his own kid in handcuffs. Because that's what the word detained means to me when you're referencing a law enforcement officer. He did what, you know, his job told him to do, and that was he detained the subject. I don't know how he detained him. And that has to weigh heavy on his heart, knowing that, you know, something went wrong with his child. And by all accounts, I'm sure him and his mom are at a complete loss as to what happened. Duke, have a wonderful day. Have a beautiful day. I can't wait to see the tractor. Hillbilly says teachers used to have a moral base even if they themselves weren't religious, but today, if you have a moral base, you probably won't get a teaching certificate. And part of that is true in parts of the country. Welcome back, Sherry. If you have strong moral beliefs, in a lot of places, you will not get hired. Exactly. Which I don't understand, but um, I do agree that teachers ought to have a strong sense of what's right and what's wrong. You know, and I believe that they should shoulder a bigger burden in teaching morality of right versus wrong. You know, don't steal, don't kill somebody, speak respectfully, etc., etc. And those are the kind of morals that I'm talking about. I think they should shoulder a bigger burden and practice what they preach, so to speak. Sherry found out more information. The dad told him that he should turn himself in. The shooter told his dad that he'd rather kill himself, and that's when the dad detained him. Makes sense, Sherry. Makes perfect sense to me. I would have too. And I hope that they've got him on suicide watch. Or special watch or whatever it's called. I hope this is somebody keeping an eye on him 24/7. Well, I kind of like the way these turned out. Not exactly happy about this one, but you know. That is a father doing his duty to the country as well as to his family, in my opinion. Fathers don't, and that's the other thing is fathers don't get near enough credit in this country for everything that they do. They really don't. And that is why a lot of kids don't have fathers anymore because they were overlooked. And pushed out. And that's not right either. Fathers are amazing people who give so much to their family. Generally speaking, you know, I heard a story the other day about someone I know who was a very hard worker, who provided his wife with everything she wanted. His wife is leaving him because he doesn't spend enough time with her. You knew he was a hard worker when you married him. And providing for the family like he does requires a lot of hours, a lot of sacrifice on his part. And I don't understand that. You know, you've got a man doing everything that he's supposed to be doing for the family. And just because, you know, he's not as home as often as you want, that's part of being the provider. You do get less family time in some cases. And fathers aren't recognized near enough for the fact that they're not there for every little moment sometimes because they're out busy providing. And that is why I think a lot of men don't want to do the job anymore. You know? And that's sad. Thank you, Sherry. Sherry says her dad was a very loving but a hard teacher, right? Hey, I am all for dads. I am all for supporting fathers. I have much respect for them. My friend the artistic biker is a wonderful father. And I don't know that he's ever heard me say that before. I know he's heard me say I love your family. I think it's awesome. But I do. I think he is a wonderful father. I don't know your father that well, Blaze, but I believe that from the stories you have told. You care about your family, and it is evident every day. You work hard for your family. You are there for your family. You do things together with your family to make them all better people. And yet you still have time for yourself. And I think that makes you amazing as a father. I do. I'm going to cry now, okay? It's been an emotional day. And that's what I mean about when I say we don't say those things often enough. I have known Blaze for many, many years, people. Many, 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 many years. I don't even know how many years now. And my music stopped a while ago, and I don't know why. Oh, when the phone call came in, that's when my music stopped. That was a while ago now. "14 years. That's incredible. That is now longer than my relationship that I just left, Blaze. I don't think you've heard all of that story yet. In May, I ended my relationship that was almost 14 years long because he got violent and aggressive. So I got myself out of that situation. Right, Hillbilly. Hillbilly says friends used to tell him that he was the most hardcore, strict parent they ever knew, yet he never raised a hand to his kids and seldom raised his voice. They asked how he did it, and he said, I thought that was the way fatherhood was supposed to be. I agree. That is awesome of your dad. Yeah, I love your parents. I love that they are there for you every day. Blaze, I do. I love that about them. Sherry says her son is a duplicate of her dad. Oh, that's going to make me cry. I know how much you cherish your dad, Sherry. I bet you are proud. That's awesome. And I'm glad that. Okay, we're going to go back to the artistic biker for a minute because I got something else to say about it. As much as I have seen that he gives to his family also gives back to him. Oh, now I'm going to cry. So, let's not do that. All right, we're going to come in with some Parma Violet now. Look, we're actually going to talk about coloring because we talk about Blaze's family anymore. I think they are amazing. Okay, if you hadn't guessed. Yeah. He is free to be himself, I believe, within the structure of his family. You know, he gets up every day stupidly early. And he stays up stupidly late at night because I've seen him stay up late at night researching for the next day's drawing that he's going to be doing. So I know he works hard. If you haven't caught one of his color or one of his ink and wash sketches yet, come visit us. You will learn them, with us. You will learn the most random stuff. I'm there usually on Sundays because I actually do set my alarm. It is the only alarm that I set during the week. I talked about that earlier, that how I don't set my alarm clock because it scares the bejesus out of me. I actually do on Sunday mornings so that I am there to learn whatever random facts it is he has that day, and for the camaraderie that we have. And it is awesome to have had a friend for so long, that I have watched him grow as an artist tremendously. And the dedication that he has to his craft is admirable. I am not a morning person. I wish I was. But even in that, he gets up stupidly extra early in the mornings. And that's dedication. That is drive. That is creating the time to create. We all sit around a lot of times and say, oh, I wish I had more time to color. Well, you know what? Make an appointment with yourself. Put it in your calendar. Make it a priority. And he's the one that got me to commit to twice a week coloring live. Yeah. Blaze wakes up excited for it every day. And he's the inspiration behind me coming on here twice a week and coloring live. Sherry says that's the way it's supposed to be a dad. The only time her dad hollered at her was the time she fell off of his Appaloosa. That's a horse. Dad said the horse felt the fear. Yes, horses can feel fear. And if I do happen to wake up in the morning without the alarm going off that early, I do drop in his chat, sleepy-eyed as I can be. And that's because, too, we've been friends for that long that I want to support my friend. I want to see him do well. I want him to have his happiness. When I do show up, I get to encourage him and tease him about making sure he puts the yellow paint down first. Making sure he dries the paint for me so I can watch the paint dry. But yeah, we absolutely should have the freedom of speech here in the United States, and I wish it was worldwide, and we absolutely should be free of that fear that somebody's going to come along and shoot us or harm us because we chose to express an opinion. Everybody has the right to their opinion. Everybody has the right to say what they want to say. And there are certain people that I will encourage in my life and discourage others in my life. Because I don't want negative energy. I don't want the negative karma. I absolutely do not. Oh, I like how that looks. Look at that. I think that's pretty smooth. Uh-oh, my spam bot got you. What did you say? I don't know what you said because it won't let me see it. It just says don't spam caps. Oh no. Timed out by Streamlabs for 30 seconds. You'll be back. I need to go in there and set the exceptions for everybody who comes to chat normally. You said yellow paint? Oh no. Yeah, I need to add you guys all to the list of, approved users that y'all can say whatever you want. I added Streamlabs to keep out some of the spam because I got spammed really bad the other day. So now I have to fine tune it. Hillbilly says he had an uncle who had a horse, and if anybody wanted to ride that horse, they had to be able to stay on it while the horse walked under the clothesline. I haven't heard Streamlabs. View deleted message. View deleted message. View deleted message. View deleted message. Yes, yellow paint first. Now I see it. Now let me see it. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad. I'm glad you stopped by today, Blaze. Really am. Yeah, it's an emotional day, and I think as a society we need to be able to express those things, like Blaze, I think you're an awesome father, and tell other people too, and I don't do it near often enough. I think Hillbilly has become a wonderful colorist, even though he doesn't believe it. And I think Sherry does amazing pieces, and they're both the sweetest, kindest people I've ever met. Towards everybody, you know? Don't get me started again, or I'm going to cry again. I'm trying to color here. Blaze says he asked his grandpa for a horse and he got you a motorcycle. That works. He gave you horsepower. You're welcome, Hillbilly. You're welcome. Yes, yellow paint first. The running joke is one day he was doing a watercolor on his ink and wash, and he didn't put down the yellow paint first, and I was literally sitting here thinking he was going to mess up the yellow paint when he did put it on, and he didn't, believe it or not. He didn't mess it up. But boy, it was a nail-biting moment, and you would think the art would not have nail-biting moments like that, but that's just like in Farming Simulator. You wouldn't think, you'd have very many nail-biting moments in it there either, but Hillbilly proved us all wrong when he put that tractor up on the house there, or up on the barn. Getting that tractor up there, I was literally holding my breath. Watching that tractor tipple and topple, but by golly, he got it up there. That was that amazing moment. I think we all cheered that night. I was watching Blaze do his thing, and I literally realized I was holding my breath watching him. No joke. That was on a fish you were doing that on. A blue tang, maybe? Was that the one you were doing it on? I don't know, but I think it was a fish. Anyway, when the artistic biker gets to a certain number of subscribers, he's gonna make a Hawaiian shirt with all these paintings on it that he does, all these sketch and washes that he does every morning. And I am hoping in the random drawing that I win that shirt. Otherwise, I'm going to buy one with all his artwork all over it. And as I told him, at that point, then that's going to become my shirt to wear when I read the books to kids. I will wear that shirt when I read my books to the kids. And once I get the furniture moved in here, that should start up again. I should be able to do that again once I get the furniture rearranged. I should have the everything set up then so that I can read the books to the kids again. You know, I had to take some time off and let my finger heal, and the finger hasn't healed up all the way to where I can turn pages in a book yet. That I still struggle with that, so I had to come up with an alternative way to hold the book and record everything. Yada, 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 technical difficulties, but I should be back to reading books to the kids soon. So if any of my kids are out there watching this, yes, you're going to get your Halloween story. I don't know which one I'm going to do yet, though, but you'll get a Halloween story this year. You might get a couple just because I'm so excited to do it again. I'm thinking about doing the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Because that's a classic. I like doing classic stories. The next one I am going to read though is the Ant and the Grasshopper. I've been wanting to do that for a minute now. That's next on my list. Oh, we were talking about food earlier, Blaze. Yeah, I think Hawaiian Hillbilly needs a Hawaiian shirt too. 2000, Blaze says when he hits 2000. So everybody go subscribe to the Artistic Biker. That would be sweet. That would be sweet, Blaze, but I'd be willing to pay for it. I really am. I want one so bad. On a completely side point, his son made a plate of pasta and the whole house smells like carbs. I'm gaining weight just smelling it. Well, it's a good thing you weren't here earlier for our discussion about food, and we'll probably get back on food for a minute because I asked everybody what their favorite food was. And mine is if I had to eat one food for the rest of my life, it would be tacos every day. But that is funny. And I will be, give me just one moment here, guys. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I am back. Let's see. We had fast food tacos last night and they were fabulous. Yummy. Every once in a while, you got to do that. Yes, they really do. But I don't think tacos ever sound bad either. Now, sometimes I want them less spicy than others, but I don't think there will ever be a day in my life where somebody says, "Do you want tacos?" And I say no. I don't think that day will ever come. Oh my goodness. Okay, I just turned back on my music from Spotify. And son of a preacher man. Dusty Springfield, it says. That's a nice chill song. It's got a good beat on it. I'm going to move these off to the side here real quick. We're going to turn my page a little bit. One thing I like about pages like this is that it doesn't matter which way you turn it. It's still a cool design. Do I like them in hard corn tortillas or street tacos? I like tacos, period. If I can eat the shell because I don't have teeth, I will eat them hard, I will eat them soft, I will eat them here, I will eat them there, I will eat them anywhere. Sam, I am. Oh, that'll be nice, Hillbilly. I hope she does. Now that we've talked about tacos for so much. And again, this is just a little Parma violet. I try to remember to say the names of the colors. I'm definitely now planning tacos for one night next week. Maybe I'll do them on Tuesday. I'll need to go to the store and get a few things. But now I want tacos too. You like it when I Wolverine the pencils? I only have 4 pencils out today, so it's not much of a not much of a Wolverine today. I do. I put them in between my fingers. Here, let me turn it over here. I hold them in between my fingers. I do. I can't help it. That's just how I hold them. It's a habit. I don't know where I picked up the habit. I really don't. Right? So when I say, everybody put down your pencils, that's really telling myself, put down your pencils. Blaze says he gets the hard tortillas and wrap them in the soft tortillas. Oh, yummy. Yes, Sherry, we are going to have so much fun once you arrive in Indiana. Blaze says, I'm ready to color and bludgeon bad guys at any given minute. That's right. That's right. Bad guys, stay away. But you're right. I do hold them like that quite a bit. And I thought everybody held them like that. I mean, Makes sense to me. You know, that way you can just grab one out or grab one or two out or whatever at a time, you know. They're handy there. They're within reach. I mean, it's especially helpful if I'm doing a lot of little things at once or a lot of details on a page. Helps me keep them in order. It definitely helps, keep them from rolling away. Yes, very handy. Very handy. Very handy. Ha ha ha. Right. Other times, I just hold them in my fist. But I can't say that in a different way because then, we're no longer PG-13 anymore. Sometimes I do hold them like that. But it's usually in between my fingers. Yes, I hold them more often when I'm doing a gradient like that, light, medium, dark of the same color. Helps keep them organized. It does. But, when I say grab a handful of pencils and let's go, that's what I mean, a handful of pencils. There is a familiarity that comes when you know somebody for so long. And Blaze and I are kind of at that point, where pretty much anything goes. And I know he won't get offended, and I know that I won't get offended by anything he says. And I'm generally that way with just about everybody. I don't even remember how we met anymore. Just on Facebook somehow, or maybe even Twitter. No, I think it was on Twitter. Was it on Twitter? I don't remember. It's online somehow. Oh, that makes sense. Blaze says he lays his in order on the incline, so the next one he'll use is on the bottom and then just keep rotating them. That makes a lot of sense. 3 Dot Diva Dave. Oh, I know him. Now then, how did I meet him then? I think I met him through Mark Murhan. I think that's how that went. It's like the 6 degrees of separation between people. Everybody I know, most of the people I know them because I got introduced to them by somebody else. Now, Hillbilly, I found on my own. One night, I was up late at night looking for farming simulator stuff, and I had just gotten out of a chat room that was pretty wild with the curse words and the inappropriate topics. And I got out of that chat room and I came over to Hillbillies, and Hillbillies was so nice and chill and kind and was not raunchy or out of line or anything. And I really appreciated that. That I didn't have to deal with immaturity of the internet. And so I stayed, and then we started talking, and then he all of a sudden said, by the way, if you color, I'll be coloring on Monday at 9 a.m. I remember that. That was a Friday night, too. Yes, it was 14 years ago. Yes, I'm surprised you remember that much, too, because I didn't. I believe that, Hillbilly. I believe that you are. I believe wholeheartedly that you are a genuinely upstanding and wonderful person. Hi, Jess. How are you doing today? I am. Is it okay if I say something, Jess? I will ask you first before I say anything. I'm glad you're here, Jess. Everybody, please give Jess extra love today. Jess lost her brother yesterday to cancer. And I appreciate you stopping in, Jess. And that's why I gave a freebie away today. I don't know if you've been on your Discord or not. But in case you needed something to color today, Jess, I wanted to make sure that you had some materials available. Okay? That you had something that you could just color without thinking about it. Going forward, I think y'all will see more of a collaboration between Jess and I, because Jess and I have hit it off really well. And I want to do something to help honor her brother. I love you, Jess. Greens and blues, that would be beautiful. Jess sees peacock colors in this. That's awesome. Can't wait to see it, Jess. If you would like to share, that's fine. If not, that's okay too. There have been a lot of grief this week to deal with. Gosh darn it. My page just got all blurry, you know. Oh. You're welcome, Jess. You're welcome. It's been a hard week for a lot of people. But I was thinking about you when I was trying to decide what to do this week. And so I thought, hey, let's do something that has no pressure to it, that can be whatever color you want. It's just all about sitting down and putting color on a page and not have to worry about being perfect or worry about it going on the wall. Just something to sit down and do. You know, when you all tell me your stories or what's going on in your life, you think it doesn't affect me. It does. I am that kind of person. You know, Blaze and I are kind of in the same situation in that we have older parents that are still living. And I know that there will be real grief from me when his parents pass away. If I am lucky enough to see that day, if I am lucky enough to live that long, that I will grieve along with him. So yes, Jess, I am literally grieving with you. All right, enough about that. Because yeah, somebody's cutting major onions in here today. I understand that. I understand that completely. Printers are crazy some days. Anymore, I don't get along with them very well. What do you mean the printer is not ready? You go over, the printer is on. Oh, wait, the Wi-Fi button needs pushed. I hate that. It used to be all hardwired into the computer, But since they went wireless, whew, I used to have a 13 by 19 inch printer, by the way. And I used to do these beautiful big sunflower prints. They were gorgeous. And I have one person who probably bought 6 of those off of me. Gosh, that was many, many years ago. And she put them in her office. Pictures of sunflowers that I had taken. And I loved that. I loved seeing them up on the wall like that. I had a lot of fun with that printer. Had archival ink and everything. I wish I still had that printer. It was a Canon. And I loved it. Yes, the taco conversation was way less blurry. Jess, are you pro or con tacos? Ah, Blaze says he bought a heat press and is saving up for the printer to print the transfers. Oh, wow. That'll be cool. Jess is thinking about getting a ribbon printer, like those small compact ones might work best in the RV for space. I agree. Yes, dry your eyes when we were talking about tacos. But that's why I say it's important to talk about those things and discuss them and let the onions come out once in a while. That's just love trapped in your soul that needs a way to come out. That's what tears are. In my opinion, you are free to have your own opinion, though. Jess is very much pro taco. Depends on the toppings. Juan loves double-decker tacos, the hard shell, the refried beans, and the soft shell, and the meat toppings inside. I believe that he belongs with Blaze. I believe Blaze said he likes those kind. Me, I don't care what kind of taco it is. Just slap some stuff in there and give me the taco. I'm pretty easygoing when it comes to tacos. Right? Tacos are just good eats right there, I'm telling you. You can make them just about any way you want, and they will be good. And everybody can have their own kind. When you have a taco bar and you put out all the ingredients over there, if somebody wants jalapenos, somebody doesn't want jalapenos, somebody wants lettuce, somebody doesn't want lettuce, cheese, no cheese, y'all can just make them yourself. And then everybody is happy, and that's why we do them on Christmas Eve. You just set out the ingredients and say, here you go, and everybody makes their own. And now I'm going to have to make tacos. I'm telling you. We probably should not have got back to the taco conversation, but hey. Food brings everybody together because at the end of the day, we all have to eat. We actually might have fried mush. Does anybody here know what mush is besides me? Yeah, food and weather are good topics. It's about 80 degrees right here. It's really, really nice, kind of warmish day. Oh, I think that's kind of cheating, Blaze, that you have a Los Tacos food truck half-mile from your house. That'll be nice, though. I hope you do. If I want anybody else's tacos, I got to drive about 10, 15 minutes to get tacos. It is not just up the street. I wish it was. I do. I love tacos, though. I really do. It's really simple food, though. It really is. Of course, I consider anything in a tortilla or a hard shell a taco. Peanut butter and jelly, boom, it's a peanut butter jelly taco now. Oh, yeah, they do, Blaze. Oh. I go to this taco place. There's a town about an hour away, and they have a fantastic burrito place. And they do a barbacoa taco, which is like a roast beef, seasoned roast beef, spicy roast beef kind of thing. Oh my gosh. Yes, mush is fried cornmeal thing. Yes. Sherry says her grandma used to make fried mush. Yes, I think we might have that tonight for dinner. We haven't had any for a long time. And we went down to the meat market the other day, which has items we can't find at other places. And they had some mush there. And I was like, yeah. Fresh side is what we go to the meat market for. And fresh side is an uncured bacon. And it's really thick and it's really yummy. And we will probably have that with the mush tonight. Because we picked some up the other day because Mama was hungry for it. And they do not sell fresh side in any of our local grocery stores anymore because I talked to the meat manager at the local markets about it. Nobody knows how to fix it anymore. I said, you're kidding me. Salt, pepper, you put it in some flour, you fry it in a pan. How difficult is that? But it's uncured or unprocessed bacon. And it's really good. Oh, I hear the neighbor let the dogs out. We're almost out of time for the day. I can't believe it. Places in Houston, taco trucks are everywhere. Oh, I wish they were around here. Right, Jess? Cornbread is a good thing. You don't think you'll be train in real life. No, but mush and cornbread are made out of the same grain. Mush, you take, okay, if you actually want to make it from scratch, you take cornmeal and you soak it in water and you basically put it in a mold and you let it firm up that way. And then once it's firm and chilled, you slice it. I dip it in flour before I fry it, and then I fry it in butter. Whereas if you make cornbread, you add some other ingredients to it and you bake it in the oven. But it's made out of cornmeal. Blaze says his grandpa was the third largest hog farmer in Oklahoma when he was a kid. Oh, yeah, I bet you had all the good stuff. Yes. Although he's not originally from Texas. I believe. Maybe he is and he just moved back there. He was in Oklahoma for the longest time. And not too long ago, moved to Texas. Right? I believe you are much happier there. I don't know. It just seems like it. Blaze has an allergy to frozen water that falls from the sky. All right. It is almost 5 o'clock. It is almost time for us to go. And I know that for a fact now because somebody cuts me off at exactly 4 hours, and I hate it when they do that. I'm like, I wasn't finished talking yet, so I'm warning y'all right now that 4 hours is about the limit here on YouTube. The other day it cut me off, and I was not happy that it cut me off before I could say my goodbyes. And I'm glad I got that little piece done right there. Oops, upside down. Blaze believes solid water is an abomination. Yeah, I think it has to do with it's either YouTube or my provider, I don't know. But somebody cuts me off at exactly 4 hours when I've been live streaming. So we have to wrap up before the 4 hours is up, and that gives us 3 minutes. Used to live up in the northeast corner. Miama? I don't know. Blaze says cold is the absence of God's love. I don't think so. Denton, rah, rah, rah. Chickasaw. Yes, that S word is going to be here before we know it, which is why I've got to get the RV ready to go for the winter. Oh, I'm going to stop right there. I really like the way that looks. I like the effect on it. We'll do some more on it some other time. But absolutely, sometimes in life, you just need to sit down and put the color on the page. And that's what I've done here today. Is just simply sat here and talked to anybody who's come in and let them know that I see you, I appreciate you, I love you all. I thank you all so much for joining me today. I really do. Meant a lot. Today was a rough day. Rough day for a lot of people. And I'm glad you all could make it. My ama. Oh, it's from Rocky Horror. I should have known that. Yes, I'm going to go rustle up some dinner myself here. I hope everyone has a beautiful day wherever you are, and that you take some time for yourself and, just put some color on the page. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be fantastic, but just sit down and take those few minutes to yourself and remember to breathe, everybody. Thank you all for joining me today. Have a beautiful weekend, and I will see you all soon.